Hi, this is Scott with Stuck Inside Sports, and because I'm a pitiful sports addict in need of some competition, I've created something to amuse myself. With the aid of some Hot Wheel tracks and some Diecast cars, I've created a 16-car bracket of competition between 8 famous TV cars and 8 famous movie cars. Get ready for the fun.
Because I'm a sports addict, I did have to create some seating. On the left, you've got the TV, and on the right, you got the movie vehicles. Back to the left, we've got seated number 1, Speed Racers Mach 5. Big Brother Racer X is seated number 2 with the Shooting Star. I mean, these cars had to be seated 1 and 2 since they are racing vehicles. Seated number 3 is the Batmobile. I mean, it's the Batmobile. It's got to be seated high. Number 4 is probably a surprise. It's the Monkey Mobile, but that is a 66 Pontiac GTO. We'll talk more about that later. Seated number 5 is the Striped Tomato from Starsky and Hutch. Seated number 6 is Kit from Knight Rider. And then 7 and 8, we got 2 vans, kind of a toss-up. We got the A-Team seated number 7. And number 8, we've got the Mystery Machine. Not expecting much out of that, although they were running from ghosts all the time, so it might be faster than we realize. On the right, we've got the movies. Milner's Ford Coupe, that beautiful yellow car, seated number 1. It was built for speed. Number 2, we've got the Bandit's Trans Am. It's the Bandit. Number 3 is the Bluesmobile. Now, this could have been seated a little higher. It's got a 440 motor in it. We'll talk more about that later. Seated number 4 is the Ectomobile from Ghostbusters, and that's got a 390 V8 in it, so it can probably get up and go as well. Seated number 5 is the Smokies vehicle. It's a Le Mans. Seated number 6 is the Family Truckster from Vacation. I don't know what we're going to get out of that car, but that might be an interesting race. Seated number 7 might come in as a surprise to you. It's the DeLorean from Back to the Future, but it's only a 2.8-liter V6. You never know what you're going to get out of the DeLorean. In the first movie of Back to the Future, toward the end of the film, Doc's at the clock tower, and they're frantically racing to try to get Marty back into his time. It takes Marty 1 minute and 42 seconds in that scene to get up to 88 miles an hour. But at the very end of that same movie, Doc rushes off to the future, and it only takes him about 5 seconds. So you never know what you're getting out of the DeLorean. And seated number 8 is a Jeep from Jurassic Park. Not expecting much out of that. So we've got race number 1 in the TV bracket. Seated number 1 is Speed Racers Mach 5 against the number 8 seed from Scooby-Doo, the Mystery Machine. This is a 72 Ford Ecoline van that's going to try to take down the Mach 5. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we have got a major upset as the Mystery Machine has taken down the number 1 seed, the Mach 5. I can't help but wonder if Spritle and Chim Chim had something to do with that devastating loss. Okay, here's race number 2. We got to see if Racer X can make up for the pitiful way that the Mach 5 was disgraced in the first race. So seated number 2 is Racer X's Shooting Star against number 7, the van from the A-Team. It's a 1983 GMC van. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yes! So the Shooting Star has brought some redemption to the family. So the number 2 seed will carry forward. I don't think I'd ask B.A. Baracus what he thought about that race. So we're still in the TV bracket. Now we've got the 3 versus the 6. Seated number 3 is the Batmobile, a 55 Ford Lincoln with a 390 6.4-liter engine. Nice V8. Against Knight Rider, we've got Kit. Michael Knight driving this car. 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. It's a V8 5.0-liter engine, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And the Batmobile takes this victory as expected. It will move on to the next round. So we're completing the first round of the TV bracket, and now we've got the 4 versus the 5, which is always an interesting matchup. Number 4 is the Monkey Mobile, a 1966 Pontiac GTO with a 389 V8 supercharged engine, against Starsky's Striped Tomato, a 76 Ford Gran Torino with a 351 Windsor V8. So here we go. I'm going to hate to see the one of these cars lose. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, nobody made it to the finish, but by default, Starsky's Striped Tomato will take the victory. So now we're into the first round of the movie side of the bracket, and we got the number 1 versus the number 8. Number 1 is a hot rod, Milner's Ford Coupe from American Graffiti, heavy favorite in this race, versus a Jeep Wrangler from Jurassic Park. Little bit of information here. Dennis Nedry was driving this Jeep in Jurassic Park, of course played by Wayne Knight. So we're going to say that Newman is driving this Jeep versus Milner in American Graffiti. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, the number 1 is taken out again. Milner's car doesn't even make it to the end, and Newman is down there celebrating. Another big upset. Here we are in race 2 of the movie section. We've got the number 2 versus the number 7. We got the Bandit 77 Trans Am 400 V8 6.6 liter engine against the DeLorean that we spoke about in the intro. We just don't know which car is going to show up when the DeLorean races, so this might be interesting. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and the DeLorean has blown away the Bandit. Now we've got the 3 versus the 6. Number 3 is the Bluesmobile, driven by Elwood Blues. It's a 74 Dodge with a 440 Magnum. This thing ought to get up and go. Against the family truckster from Vacation, an LTD Country Squire. It's a Ford, 5.0 liter V8 engine. We'll see what happens here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is the most pitiful race yet. But the Bluesmobile will win by default, even though neither vehicle came close to finishing. Well, here's the final race in round 1. We've got the 4 versus the 5 in the movie bracket. The 4 being the Ectomobile from Ghostbusters. It's a 59 Cadillac with a 390 6.3 liter V8 engine. And then we've got the Smokies Le Mans. It's a Pontiac. It's a 77 Pontiac with a 301 2-barrel engine. We'll see what happens. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We had to get a closer look at this. Nobody finished. But as you can see, the Le Mans just barely edges out the Ectomobile. So now we're down to the final 8 cars. With both number 1 seeds gone, this bracket is wide open. The Shooting Star, the number 2 seed, is still alive on the TV side. And the top car on the movie side is the Bluesmobile, the number 3 seed. So we're off to the first race in the quarterfinals. And we've got the Mystery Machine, seeded number 8, who surprisingly took out the Mach 5. You know Pops can't be happy about that. Taking on the Striped Tomato with Starsky at the helm. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and the Mystery Machine has blown away the Striped Tomato and moved on once again. So the 8 seed is showing strong. So here's race 2 on the TV side. We've got the number 2, the Shooting Star, driven by Racer X, who's trying to bring some pride to this family that's taken a serious blow, versus the number 3, the Batmobile, who had a great race in round 1. So this looks to be a good race right here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and it is the Batmobile that takes down the Shooting Star. So into the finals on the TV side, we've got the Mystery Machine versus the Batmobile. That looks to be an exciting race. And now off to the quarterfinals on the movie side. We've got the Jeep from Jurassic Park with Newman at the helm versus the Smoky from Smokey and the Bandit. The Bandit didn't make it out of round one, but the Smoky did. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes. The Jeep won again. So 2 8 seeds into the semifinals. So here we go off to race 4. And for the final race of the quarterfinals, we've got the number 3 Bluesmobile against the upset winner, the DeLorean, the number 7 seed, who took out the Bandit in round 1 in a stunning defeat. So here we go, the Bluesmobile versus the DeLorean. 3, 2, 1. And the DeLorean has blown away the Bluesmobile. The Bluesmobiles did not even make it to the end. And so here's the final 4, the Mystery Machine versus the Batmobile, and the Jurassic Park Jeep versus the DeLorean. These should be some good semifinals. So here we are in the semifinals, and we've got the Mystery Machine seated number 8 all the way in the final versus the Batmobile, who was seated number 3. These cars were flying down the track. This looks to be a great semifinal race. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and the Batmobile just edges out the Mystery Machine to take home the TV side of this bracket. The Batmobile will move on to the final.
Well, when I saw this race in real time, I thought the Batmobile was a clear winner, but my judgment was questioned and we went back and consulted the film. We have an additional camera set up at the midpoint of this track, and you can see here in slow motion that we still cannot tell who was in the lead at the midpoint of this race. Then we consulted the camera that sees the full view of the track. As you can see, the Batmobile has a clear lead coming down the stretch, but the Mystery Machine closed hard and made this a photo finish. We've got 2 still images to show you. The first seems to indicate that the Batmobile hit the line first, as you can see part of the Mystery Machine, but you can't see part of the Batmobile. But the second view is a little more clear. The Batmobile hits the spinner just before the Mystery Machine and does indeed win this race and move on to the final.
And now we've got the final on the movie side of the bracket, which again is the 8 seed, the Jurassic Park Jeep, against the DeLorean. And these vehicles have also been flying through the previous rounds. This looks to be another very close race. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and the DeLorean has stolen this race, and the DeLorean will battle it off with the Batmobile in the final. Well, here we are in the final, and we've got a 3 versus a 7. The Batmobile took the TV side versus Back to the Future's DeLorean, a 7 seed, who is now in the finals. As I said in the intro, you never know which DeLorean's going to show up. This looks to be the one that Doc was driving at the end of the movie. So here we go. This looks to be a great final. 3, 2, 1. And it's the DeLorean. What an exciting final. Marty McFly has won this race.
This is Scott with Stuck Inside Sports, and the DeLorean took it all the way to victory lane. As long as we're stuck inside, we'll be doing something ridiculous. Tune in next time to see what kind of stupid thing I'm up to. Thanks a lot for watching.